The wonder of home.
The wonder of home.
The wonder of home. The wonder of home.
They're fighting about Paw Patrol, so anyway.
It's valid.
Yeah.
Valid
It's
argument.
very serious stuff.
It's very serious. Well, welcome everyone to our podcast for this week. I'm so excited. We had fun trying to work out the logistics of this with different, like, being in different time zones. I feel like I was a bit slow to the party with that.
It's all good.
All over
I
it.
feel like with the way that we live, we're in different time zones all the time anyway, so it's okay.
I love it.
All right.
It's so good. We've got Ella from Coral & Co. And she / I don't know, like, is it Coral & Co. / Caravan Life or just Coral?
Yeah, well, we named it Coral & Co. Travel just because that's what we do with our life, just travel.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our Instagram name, but Coral & Co. is fine. We originally named it that because our caravan is named Coral.
Oh,
So
I love it.
yeah, and we, like, the rest of us are Co.
You're just Co.
Co, you know.
She gets all the glory and you're just Co.
Yeah, and those tag-alongs, you know.
Oh, I love it. But I wanted to get you on because I'm like, it is such a cool, I don't know, like, not idea because it's literally your life, but I really wanted to, obviously I've had a lot of guests on that are based in a physical home.
Yeah.
And obviously you are not, or you gave that up to do what you're doing, which is so cool. And I'm totally living my Instagram travel life through you. So keep it coming.
Thank you.
But I wanted to, like, get you on and just, I suppose it's a very, like, left field, like, not left field guest, but kind of, because I think it's such a different person to interview. But, like, what were you doing before? Like, what made you think, I know what I'm going to do? We're going to all just go on the road. Like, what inspired that? Like,
we had a few things going on, as I feel like all people do. But first of all, we had this, like, crazy neighbor. So she was just, like, full on, like, bashing on a corrugated fence, like, like, throwing a few words, you know.
Wow.
Anyway, and I was a new mom and I was like, I am not coping with this. I'm literally, like, parenting on eggshells right now and not sure if she's gonna, like, abuse us again. Anyway, and then Brad's work, he can work online anywhere.
That's
so
cool.
We were like, and I think the thing is too, I don't know if you can relate, but when I first started having kids and I went on my first holiday, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel ripped off. I don't get holidays anymore. Like, this stinks. What the heck? No one told me this.
Yeah, totally. I know, this is the rest of my life now. And these 4 walls. That's it.
So there was a part of me that's like, why don't we try and make a lifestyle that kind of replicates being on a holiday, because you don't really get that as parents anymore. So how do we do this in a different way? Because, like, I was finding too on holidays, I'm like, this is not a holiday, this is worse, because the kids are just absolutely crazy. There's no routine, like, it's just mayhem. I come home exhausted. So anyway, we had that going on, and we were like, while Brad has this job, we should definitely travel, because life is short. You just don't know what's going to happen, and so many people have jobs that you can't travel with. So we were like, let's do it. Let's just do it and see. And because our rental situation, like, we didn't have a house or anything, we just had a rental, we were just like, hey, there's really no risk for us. We can just, if we hate it, we can just go back to another rental and, you know, whatever. So we were like, let's just take it and see what happens. So
was the plan always to, like, for those that don't know much, I suppose, about, like, Ella and her family and what they're actually doing, you're traveling all around Australia at whatever pace you want. Is that right?
Yeah. exactly.
Yeah, but you've also been like in between. You've had like little like overseas trips and then come back. But basically,
Yeah,
the wonder of your home is like coral is it. Like the caravan is it.
yeah,
Two
basically.
young boys who are
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. And
So
I decided to
cute.
paint my caravan white. So, you know,
I love it. Like, what was your brief like when you were looking for a caravan? Because I feel like you didn't go like full like Winnebago, full like, internal shower. Like, I wouldn't say that it's the most like glamour. You still have a
no,
camping like setup, don't you?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when we started looking at caravans, we were like, oh, sweet, like this would be so good. Like we have a bit of a deposit. And then I was like, oh my gosh, they're so expensive.
So,
Like,
yeah.
and we needed a car at the same time. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So we decided to get a good car that could tow the thing, because I was like, there's no point getting an awesome caravan if you're
Yeah.
stuck in Northern Territory and you can't get anywhere. So um we decided for a good car, and we're like, let's just start secondhand to start off with,
Yeah.
and then we'll just build it up from there. But basically the caravan that we had was sitting in our parents' backyard for 8 years collecting dust. So
Oh, see, I never even knew that story. You just all of a sudden had your caravan. So I never like went on the
yeah,
journey of like how you got your caravan. But that makes sense. So
yeah,
you rejuvenated, which you do to lots of things. 'Cause I've known you for years, and I feel like you have to put like the Ella touch on things. And you
yeah,
did with this caravan. What was like
yeah.
your first impression when you went in the caravan?
I was like, this is disgusting, Brad. We're not getting it. I was like, no, no, I cannot see ourselves in this. I'm freaking out.
What? What color was it originally on the inside?
Oh my, so gross. It was grey laminate everywhere with a touch of like maroon floral and cream.
I
Like,
was gonna say,
and then there was like,
I feel like I saw maroon. Yep.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and also like matching curtains. So the curtains were that as well, with the what is it, upholstery on the lounge. And then there was this weird mirror like on the back, and I'm like, what's with the mirror? Like,
Bit kinky.
yeah, I was like, I don't want to know. I think we're gonna get rid of this mattress. Like, I just don't know. Yeah, it was crazy. And it had carpet in it. Like, what?
I've never
Carpet?
heard of a caravan having carpet.
I don't know.
Maybe
And it
it's
had
the
like this.
acoustics thing. They were worried about the acoustics.
Yes, probably. Oh man, who knows where that caravan's been? We don't ask those questions. We just renovate and pretend.
Yeah, you renovated, you zhuzhed it up, used a bit of Kmart hacks.
Yeah.
I remember following like your Kmart hacks, and you zhuzhed it up a bit.
Yeah.
So is it
Because
hard to, like, obviously you said like Brad, he can work from anywhere. Is it
yeah.
hard? Like, do you kind of, when you're planning out where you're going to go, do you kind of do it around where he has to be? Like,
No. Oh, actually, no, that's a lie, because sometimes he'll have work conferences. So in October, he will have to fly to Sydney from Perth. Oh, well, we're in Western Australia at the moment. We're up at X now. So if anyone that doesn't know that knows, it's a bloody long way.
Yeah. It's so
And
pretty though.
So pretty.
Oh,
But to fly from there is just so expensive. So we're like, nah, we didn't push that on the boss, because we're like, you know what? We're living the life. He's been very gracious.
yeah,
So we'll make our way down to Perth, and just, that give and take with employees and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do a little bit like that, but there's not too many things that we have to work around like that. That's only a once in a year thing.
Yeah.
Because we have Starlink internet. So
Okay.
when he is on a Zoom call or anything like that, we have the best internet ever. So it's amazing.
I was going to say, there'd be nothing worse than being like in the middle of nowhere and being like, I can't send an email.
Yes, I know. And then also like most of Australia is really remote and like your
Yeah.
phone service is not enough. So before we left, I was like, there's no way we can travel unless we have really reliable internet.
Yeah.
And we've been places where no one's had reception and I'm like making calls. They're like, how are you doing that? I'm like, oh, just Starlink.
Wow. Well, even that was one of the things I was like, oh my goodness, Ella, I need to get you on because I saw you put up, you're going to be like off the grid for like 1.5 weeks. And I was like, I can't wait 1.5 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes.
No, it was so good.
Yeah.
But I was so keen for ages to have you on. Is it expensive to do what you're doing? Like for someone that's looking or maybe has followed along so far, or someone that will probably hopefully now follow along.
Yeah.
What would be like your tip if someone was weighing up doing like the traveling around versus not, like waiting, or
Yeah.
because you've got two young boys, but they're not school age yet, are they?
No.
Yeah.
We started when Kiko was 18 months.
Yeah.
And my other cove was 3. But if you have young kids, I would recommend probably like at least 3 and up because 18 months was really hard. And I felt like it took me about a year to really get into the swing of it.
Yeah.
Everyone has different opinions, but I feel like for me, I think it's hard for any mum at that age, if you're in a house, wherever you are, but I just felt like you don't have a fence. You literally just have to run after your child because like they don't know about, road rules and
Crocodiles, like
all that stuff. So that did make it a little bit tricky, but I would say just, if you guys are ready to go when you can because life is short and you just don't know, So there's no perfect age. Kids are still kids on the road.
Yeah.
Some days I'm like,
you look like you're making amazing connections with people.
yeah, we really are. Especially in WA. I find that it's easier in WA because the East Coast is so populated and there's so many different places to stay. Whereas in WA, you can go to one town and there's 2 caravan parks. So it's like you're definitely going to meet a traveler there. So it's been really awesome because one of the things before we traveled, I was like, oh my gosh, my kids, like, are they going to socialize with other kids? Are they going to gel? And it's just been no problem at all because so many people are traveling. So
that's really cool. Do you reckon like that you've seen, because how long have you actually been like traveling for now?
It'll be a year and a half.
Wow. Do you reckon that you've seen like more people doing what you're doing or like over that time, or do you think it's just because you're in it, you're more aware of it, or
I think there's definitely a lot more families starting to travel Australia. And a lot of people that are like thinking about it and wanting to do it. Because I get lots of messages like, how do I do this? How do I prep for this? Blah, blah, blah. So I think there's lots of interest around it. So and I just think by the amount of people that I'm meeting, there's a few traveling because like a while ago, even just 5 years ago, it was just grey nomads. So
I was gonna say I think that has, because even a couple of people like where we used to live in like in rural New South Wales, even some of the girls that like I knew about my age, they have been traveling, I reckon, similar to you, maybe even a little bit longer. But they like went the other way. Like, so they started on the West Coast and they're like coming back around because they want to find somewhere where they travel to, like, for that to be their home. So that's kind of the end goal, like to look all around and then decide where they want to live. Like, which is
I think is such a good idea.
Interesting. Like, just be like, actually, we've decided to live in the Northern Territory. Like
totally. And I think like the thing is when you're traveling to like, so there's so many cool opportunities that can take place that you might have not even thought about. So I think it's a good idea to like travel around and like see what suits you. But it's really tricky for us because people ask us like, where would you settle down? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
'Cause
you're not at
that's
that
really,
place yet. You're not over it, are you?
yeah, it's really permanent. I'm like, but it doesn't move. Like I just,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
wonder if you'll forever be like nomading.
Yeah, I know.
It would be really hard, wouldn't it? Like to pick, whereas I suppose like for me, I've only ever known, like I've moved a lot in my life, but not like, like I know Nathan said like he would love to take out like all of us to up near like in a Winnebago situation, like go up the coast, like up near Uluru or Uluru.
Oh,
And I'm like,
yeah.
I cannot think of anything more traumatizing for myself than
Yeah.
to be trapped in a caravan in a small space like that.
Yeah.
Colorful
100%.
family.
I think it's good that you are reflective like that because a lot of people like will sell everything and like have this idea that like you're just going to be sipping cocktails on the beach, and I'm like, you still your kids are still coming, like, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah. Do you get that much? I'm bored, Mum. I'm bored.
No, it's more like, then they don't say that because there's so much to do.
You
And
do,
I
exactly. Yeah.
kind of train them to like play by themselves, or they find sticks, or like, or if we're in caravan parks, like there's actually
Other
so much to do.
kids. Yeah.
But it's just other things like sibling rivalry, or like, just all the things. Sleeping issue, like growing pains, sleep. Oh my gosh. So yeah. But anyway, but that's just part of life. And we're just like, we've just chosen to do it on the road. We chose our hard. It's hard in a house or it's hard on the road. So let's go to
what do you reckon is the one thing is your favorite thing? Like for you, like not as a whole family, but like for you, like Ella as a homemaker, or let me rephrase it. How do you, because like I said, Ella has like a special Ella touch that she's always had. To everything she loves, and she's the most contagious, hilarious laugh.
Oh,
And it's like everyone's like listening.
yeah.
But
you wait till I get going.
But what do you find for you is the greatest, like for home? Like, how do you create that wonder of home?
I think for me, this is the first like home that I've ever like had. So we've only ever had like rentals or like borrowed someone's house. So you can't really change it. So for me, the caravan is kind of like the space where I can change it if I want to. If I'm sick of the white interior, I can change it, or I can nail a hole in the wall without having to ask anyone. I just have to ask Brad, because I'm like, is there an electric cord in there, or like, should I do it? Or
I love the one when you
so
did something and you cut the electrical cord for something.
Oh, honestly, I probably would.
But I think no one.
Yeah.
Well, you're the best, Ella. And for those that are not, like I've said, like not aware of Ella and her husband Brad, actually, you really need to catch up, because probably a couple months ago, before they went to Bali, Ella put out this story and she was like, guys, how do we reckon that Brad would look with Bali braids? And Brad made a joke, which you should never do if you're married to Ella.
Should
never do. He's like, if we get to so many followers, I will get my whole head as Bali like braids. Anyway, Ella's like, oh, we'll see if we can get it out there. Meanwhile, my child is like making noise in the background. Never mind. And so what happened was Ella put it out there and Instagram fam delivered. They delivered so
in 2 days. Not just like, it was like, we gave them like, 2 weeks, and it was 2 days, and they were like frothing. I was like, oh my gosh.
It was like an
Anyway,
extra
it was
4,000 followers or something, wasn't it?
we started at 3,000, and I said, what would it take for you to get barley braids? And he goes, oh, we're leaving in whatever days, 9 days or whatever. He goes, I reckon if we can get to 3,600 followers, then I'll do it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, thinking it would never happen. Like, who can do that in that amount of time? Anyway, everyone just band together. It was so hilarious because we got 600 followers in 2 days, and then we ended up with
Shared
almost
across all platforms.
3,000.
Viral.
Everyone like making all these Instagram accounts.
Well, I
And
shared it like to
the
everyone
video-
I know, and like all the people I know that would reshare it, shared it. Like people that didn't even know you shared, because I think they just wanted to see you in braids. And at one point, Brad messaged me, he was like, "You are dead to me," or something.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's
Yeah, you're
turned
on the
on
list
me.
now.
But you can catch up. The podcast family, you can
Yeah.
go on Ella's page. You can catch up to that story because it's in there. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if it has its own highlight. And
Yeah.
and follow along. But
Oh,
Ella's always
man.
got, you are the best at doing like all like the TikTok videos. I love watching your little videos. You make
Oh,
me
thank
doing
you.
them.
I will.
Hilarious. And even like your boys, like sharing hilarious little videos and crazy cheeky things they get up to.
Oh.
So cute. I know, but she's also super helpful. So if anyone is listening and you're like, oh, I have questions, Ella every now and again will do like a Q&A on Instagram and answer all these questions. Obviously, probably maybe not right now because she's about to go off the grid for like a week and a half. You might have to wait a bit.
Although we do have Starlink, so
Do have the best
it's not
internet
too
in
remote.
the world. Yeah, just promo, just name drop. And but she's great at giving tips, and you can always ask her, like, if you have any questions about, I suppose, living in a little van like Coral, the caravan life. You can always ask her. So thank you, Ella, for jumping on and joining us. Pleasure. And I'm
Thank you
sure
for having me.
another podcast episode for me to get you on and quiz you about all things traveling and travel hacks or tips. Actually, that's one thing. One thing before you go.
Yeah.
What is a travel like hack or tip? Maybe not for caravan life, but can be used in any travel that you've probably like learned is your like number one go-to when it comes to travel, like tips or hacks.
I have so many.
All right, well, pick one.
I think recently, right? So
Yeah.
like on the topic of home,
Yeah.
recently I've been like getting into like diffusing oils.
Yeah.
And for me, I used to do it ages ago, and I've just recently got back into it. But it's just the smell. Like, you know how like you can create home by the smell that is in your home. And I just feel like when I do that, I just feel really calm, and it doesn't matter where I am. It kind of just centers me again. I don't know if that's weird or not,
No,
but
it's not. I've got the same thing. I do the same thing.
yeah.
Stress away is the most common one used in our house. Stress away.
I know. Yes. Oh my gosh, that one is so good. I just lather that all on.
I know, just like pour it on your body.
Yeah. But I think it's like, yeah, exactly. I think it's just like anything like that just makes you feel centered and like happy. And it's just a simple thing that you can do to like make yourself feel calm. And I think that's a good hack because as mums, we are the homemakers. So
absolutely. You
set
like the tone in your caravan, you set the smell.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum in the background. So we're just keeping it real here, guys.
I love it. Mine's probably
like in the you see my eyes like
I love it. It's so good.
So good.
Life's
I know
not
you'd
perfect.
be like, oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, they're probably
Yeah.
just falling out of the tree or something.
Yeah, it's all good.
Thank you, Ella. I will put all of Ella's details of her traveling adventures in this podcast episode. But yes, thank you for joining us. Stay safe and keep the amazing pictures coming.
I will.
Thanks.
Wow.
Bye.